Super fired up for this one. We have John Beast versus Henry, literally a rematch of the Ultimate Kickoff Tournament, Madden 26 Ultimate Kickoff Tournament. Henry won that actually fairly handily. So excited for the second matchup, and this is the most feared live event final. So this is a final, and we'll see what John Beast is able to do. John Beast says coming into this game, he's lost back-to-back finals. He lost to Fancy at the end of the Madden 25 Madden Bowl, and he lost to Henry in the Ultimate Kickoff Tournament. So a lot to kind of see here. Some demons to be exercised for John. Also, real quick, I will be leaving links to both of these guys' streaming pages and sites in the description below. I want to first quickly just kind of give a general overview of the schematics at play here. John Beast in this double mug defense, he's going to be using over the center, and essentially he can send, basically all these guys at pressure. One of the big tactics here is he'll hit the center with his user, and then he might, let's say, drop this guy into coverage, blitz this guy, blitz this guy, blitz this guy, and then maybe drop like this guy, man this guy up. He can D-pad switch. So if you don't know, he can engage with the center with his user, and then he can hit the D-pad in the direction that he wants to switch stick to, and the user will stay blitzing down. So that way, if Henry untargets the user will just come in free, but then he's able to D-pad to get onto somebody else to actually go play in coverage. So it's kind of the core of the scheme that you're going to be seeing here. Another big thing is he has D-line abilities here for the most part, and Henry is going to be in the Jets, offensive playbook. So something to kind of keep an eye on as well. All right, let's go ahead and see first couple plays here, see what happens. Henry going out in doubles flex, really interesting here. And you're going to see right off rip 1, 2, 3. So just a send 3 from John. So he effectively bluffs the pressure. Henry blocks the running back. And now you have 8 guys in coverage against 4 wide receivers. So advantage should be to John. He gets that shed right there from that defensive tackle. And Henry's going to do a good job of checking down to the drag. Another thing that we saw a lot from Henry in this game is meshing combinations over the middle to attack the defense that way. That's going to bring up a second down for Henry. Also, real quick, just wanted to quickly point out, let me back this up here for you guys. If you take a look here, you're going to notice that Henry in this tournament, he was in the Jets offensive playbook. Primarily probably for the red zone, but this audible from Bunch X Nasty to Bunch tight end, you're going to see him go to that throughout the game, as well as potential A trip tight end. Typically going to come out short side bunch, audible into either doubles or flip it, or audible into Bunch tight end. Goes to doubles here. He actually ran quite a bit of doubles in this matchup here, which is pretty surprising. We've seen, Henry be in Bunch X Nasty the majority of the year. And then also that Y-off trio close. But you see here, going to doubles flex close again. And it's a lot of this play right here. This is the second time he's called this play. He calls this play a lot. So it's PA snag. So you get the play action blocking, which is really good. You get this short post that gets really in a nice spot. He's going to get a slant route over here, and then he's going to have a table route on the back. So essentially it's going to isolate and have like a high-low over here. And then he's got this drag route, which is creating kind of a high-low in the middle of the field between the drag and the post. And you have a pretty high-level combo here, something that he's been going to consistently. Now we're going to see what he gets. He gets that first down, and we'll see what he goes to on this next play here. Also, real quick, if you guys are looking for, big breakdown on the Jets playbook, I have a full Jets and Jags offensive ebook in our school community, and that link's going to be in the description below. It's just $10, and it gets you access to all of our offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football, everything you need to win more games. Let's take a look at what happens here. Kind of a crazy pressure there from John. You're going to see here that this is the power, I think, of double mug, right? It's a send 4. So if you look, send 4, but for whatever reason, Henry's blocking. He just doesn't pick this guy up for whatever reason, and the pressure the pressure comes in there. So that's going to bring up a second down and 10. Good job by Henry there, getting rid of the ball, and he's going to go to, I believe, motion. Yeah, with the little crosser there. And nothing really doing. And good throwaway there from Henry. So that's going to bring up a 3rd and 10. One of the other things, I think big development between, you know, the Ultimate Kickoff Tournament and the Most Feared Tournament, you're seeing a significantly, like you're seeing a lot more zone coverage than we saw before. This kind of a combo is something you'll see against zone coverage. It's a slot fade, a streak, the stem down corner, backside drag, and a playmaker or a Texas route. So, you know, kind of a standard good combo against zone. I think John kind of mixes in a little bit of match here. He does have this guy up top here. He also has this check down reads, good switch stick there, and a good job of just dumping it down to the playmaker. It's going to bring up a 1st and 10, ball on the 44-yard line. Again, he's typically coming out in a short side bunch and then audibling. What's interesting is he's running doubles a lot with the tight end on the short side. You really don't see that as much last year, but that's something you are seeing this year, and he catches him in a cover 2. Ironically, this play was something that John Beast ran against Fancy in the Madden Bowl. It was really kind of a defining play sequence in last year's Madden Bowl, but it's this motion fade play, fade HB out, I believe, but it has this unique fade route right here. So what happens is this deep half is essentially going to get caught in no man's land. So as you can see here, right, it looks like he's going to get there, but he just can't quite get there. He's getting pulled by this streak, and Henry's going to do a good job of kind of getting the ball up in that top left corner and hits that route against cover 2 in that little hole shot. And it was thinking he's going to break that tackle, but now he is going to have a red zone situation. It's the hardest place in the field to score, especially first and goal from the 9. There's a lot of things that could go wrong. This is a tough little play here for Henry. We'll see what he's able to do. And he's able to just hit a slant. Very nice by Henry. Here he has effectively a streak, and then 2 slants, and this flat to clear out the flats. So as you see, the yellows kind of drift back, and the switch stick, you got a guy here, but he's not over here. And so he's able to just kind of pop the ball right into that soft spot. Looks like they were actually stemmed up curls, not streak routes, but good first drive from Henry, and he looks good. Looks good to open the final. Now we're going to look at John Beast on offense. John Beast, I'm trying to remember what he was running on offense. I want to say he was in Lions, at least to make the event. So Henry's playbooks, I believe Henry is in, he might be in, I don't know what Henry's in now. I think it's not in Kansas City. I'm trying to remember what has 3-3 Cub and Dollar. Might just be in 4-6. I mean, I don't know for sure what Henry's in. Yeah, was runner-up in last season's Madden Bowl. 3 major MCS belts. Yeah. So, anyway, he's probably the most accomplished player. If you take out Fancy, who had that 1 year that he was just last year was just insane. Fancy has not been as good this year, at least to start the year. So if you're looking over the last 3-4 years, Henry, clear number 1. John B's kind of in that number 2 or number 3 category. Wesley, obviously, right there as well. $1.1 million. That's insane. $1.13 million. Tight open for John B's. Real quick, let's take a look at what Henry's doing on the defense side ball. Kind of worth noting here. He is in this 3-3 odd. So that's what makes me think he's in the Minnesota playbook defensively, because I think he has 3-3 Cub, 3-3 odd. But I think he also has dollar, so I don't know what playbook that would be off the top of my head. But essentially 3-3 odd, right? You can have this pressure right here, or you could have this pressure right here. Those are the 2 main blitzes of 3-3 odd. Looks like Henry's going to be using this guy, so what he can do is he can manually blitz his user, and then he can D-pad switch to any of these players basically with his D-pad. So see how he's going to play it. Tight open from John. Really don't see this a lot. And as you see here, right, he is going to send his user. Somehow John picks the blitz up entirely, which is crazy. But again, zone-based shell. He goes up top. Drop pick for Henry. And that's 1. John Beast obviously good friends with Astro. Astro, who is the player that Henry beat in the previous round. This tight open makes me think John might be in Jets. Jets has one of the better tight opens in the game. Good short post route. There he hits the short post route. I love this combo by John, by the way. Take a look at this. If you want a little free off meta, this is pretty good. So he's going tight open here, and he has a flat. He has a running back streak. He has a short post. He has a streak. And then I believe he has that return route right there. So, really does a good job of kind of attacking this underneath here, and then you see here that this post going to be wide open right there. A little bit of a late switch from Henry, and able to just keep moving the ball up and down the field. Going tight open, and yeah, he's going to go back to tight open. Now he's running these seam streaks out of it. Kind of a unique combo here. You don't see this every day, but it is like a stock fade, kind of a unique play. He's got the corner route right here, trying to bend this. I don't know if it's a cover 4 beater, but for the first time, we see good pressure from Henry. Let's take a look at what he does defensively here. Still in that 3-3 odd. This time he actually blitzes his user, and he just blitzes 4. Really interestingly, he blitzes 4, and then he basically just gets a great shed there from that left side DN and gets a big sack. 2nd and 22. Obviously, when you're playing this game, especially with the stakes of a final, you don't want negative plays. You don't want these 2nd and 22s, these big sacks. You want to throw the ball away. You want to keep positive down distance. So, but John B's definitely going to a lot of tight open. That's why it makes me think he's in Jets. We'll see what else he goes to. We'll definitely see in the red zone. But here you see flat, running back streak, short post, streak, slot fade. So a lot clearing out here on this left-hand side. And you see here, good defense. But John Beast late in the play, hits that short post, really tight window. And you're seeing why it's liking this. These short posts get cleared out really well by the streaks and the slot fades. And so there's just gives you a lot of answers against a lot of different defenses. Going to go to doubles flex, which this definitely not in Lions if he's going to doubles flex. So I'm pretty sure this is Jets. Goes to motion angle HV wheel. Kind of runs a pretty standard combo out of that, but able to get in the end zone, brick tackle, get upfield. And he's going to be able to get in the end zone against Henry. That is going to tie us up at 1 touchdown apiece. Kickoff here for John. Henry going to go up that left side, try to break tackle. Good block sheds by John, and he gets a fumble. Game-changing play, by the way. So, again, I talk about this every year, but, these fumbles on kick return don't happen a lot. You see it happens there. John able to get the fumble. They're trying to mess around with the replay when we literally had one of the biggest plays of the entire game, and literally a game-altering play. In a game like this where defense is so doggone hard, it is very, very detrimental. And you see Henry immediately getting into this cub. He gave John the 3-3 odd the first drive. John looked pretty good against it. He's going to now go to this 3-3 cub. And essentially with this defense, very similar to 3-3 odd, but basically he's got 5 double or nothings on his D-line. Worst case scenario, he'll get a shed. Typically, the 10-5 will look something like that with a D-pad switch to this guy or maybe a D-pad switch to one of these defenders over here. Typically, right? Occasionally, he'll just send 5 like this and try to get the edge pressure to come in. So anyway, we'll see kind of what he's doing. Here, John goes to a 5-odd look at a PA snag. You really don't see this a whole lot. And he's got tight end wide open. Playmaker's running back, gets upfield and gets a 1st and goal. It's a crazy playmaker. Yeah, just a good job. And what's crazy here is this what I'm talking about. This is the risk reward of double or nothing. Henry sends 1, 2, 3, 4. And John literally has an eternity to be able to playmaker that route. and the defense just breaks down. You can't cover for that long, especially in this game. As you see here, John goes to a slot. This pretty much tells you and communicates he is in the Jets playbook. Jets playbook has pretty much become the clear-cut number one playbook right now in the game. It essentially is Jets number one, Jags number two, and then from there, it's kind of preference, right? I think Chargers still good. I think either Chargers or Falcons, both of those are really good because mainly because they have the U-trips for them. I think Saints is actually really good. And John throws pick. This is what you can't do. This is what you cannot do. So John, right here, he has a tight end wheel. He puts his running back on a post. Now the problem is, this is not a Texas. Even if you see how the post kind of runs into the back of the end zone here, good combo, has a little crosser, right? Did all this with his hot routes. What happens is John is expecting when he throws this, he's expecting for this running back to run right here into the space and be a touchdown. But what happens is when he hits the back of the end zone, he stops, as you see there, and Henry intercepts the ball, and all of a sudden the fumble is basically negated, and you see Henry, getting a little emotional or upbeat or whatever you want to say, and gets out of there with Mays. Almost got a pick six, wasn't able to get a pick six. That's a big play in a game. That's a huge play in a game. To me, just a little bit of a mistake on John B's, right? But that fumble that was really detrimental to Henry, pretty much negated by the interception there. And now we're kind of back to standard, right? John Beast gets the ball at halftime. Henry needs to score, though. When you get into a final like this, it really, at the highest level, again, it really becomes about like not wasting possessions, not wasting drives, making your drives count. Just like in the real NFL, right? Teams in the real NFL, scoring touchdowns, not settling for field goals, things like that. Scoring in the red zone, finishing drives. Those are all parts of what make a really, really successful team. And, that's kind of what Henry needs to do on this drive. He needs to come down. He needs to go score. So anyway, good read there. Good audible into this bunch tight end here. He's got a couple different things he can do out of this. Some pretty decent passing, but also an inside zone and an RPO alert bubble. The inside zone out of bunch tight end, one of the best runs in the game. Hard to consistently stop. It also has spacing, which has a really good flat route to the running back, has a good flat route to the slot. You see the double streaks, double slants, hits that little running back flat. That's kind of like spacing switch. It's not as good as the spacing switch route from Bunch X Nasty, but it is a good route nonetheless. Henry going to get into that A slot. This is a great red zone formation. If you run the Jets playbook, this is a formation that you need to get in your arsenal down here in the red zone. We talk about it in the ebook a little bit. It has so many good plays. This could be a standalone offense, but it's also an amazing red zone. You have a quarterback run, you have a bubble, you have a QB power inside zone, and then you have X spot. And X spot just has a lot of answers in terms of how it's going to work for you. John decides to send the crib, and Henry does a great job of finding the flat route over there on the right side. I don't know what exactly. If you watch this flat route, he gets bumped by the D end, and it kind of puts it where this spot route will hold a flat, and so then the flat gets wide open. That's why that route is so good. But anyway, great read from Henry, able to get a touchdown, able to kind of get an answer back, and now it's 14-7, right? All is well, and it's 14-7. The fumble was basically negated. Obviously, unfortunate for Henry that he got the fumble, but was able to get that interception really due to John B's mistake or just a matter of the route stopping or whatever. So now we have John B's 14-7, so down in possession. We'll see what Henry's able to do. He's going to stay in this 3-3 cub. He is going to be flipping with John as well, kind of basing out of that cover 2 shell, but John goes to that tight open again this time. Kind of streak out a little bit visual play art, but it's really this. And this is really just a combo, man. I'm telling you, if you want a combo that is going to be good no matter what the year of Madden, it's basically this. It's some level of this. As you see, it's a deep in route. It's a clear out streak for the deep in route. It's either a return route or, in this case, a drag route typically on the back end of this, you might have like a streak in a corner, or in this case, you have a slot fade and a table route. This also could be ran like this. You could have a, streak, a deep in route, a drag route, right? And then you could have a table route and a return route. But it's really this simple concept of a deep route in the middle of the field right here and a shallow route underneath right here. And what they do is they attack all of the underneath zones, and this one attacks all of these intermediate zones as well. So just a great way to high-low in the middle of the field. It's one of the most popular combos you see. And you see right here again, John able to make that read on the in route, but, not able to get it off in time. Here we go. We've got some great comments here. Bit of good old Arvine. He definitely deserves the dump truck. Shout out to that. I'm glad that everybody's drops was tracking, and it seems just a great feature there. All right, so I'd love to get this off the screen. I'm just gonna. Anyway, 2nd and 10. Send 4 from Henry. And the other thing that's crazy about this, you might not know this about Cub. This is actually still true. If you blitz and they block the running back, sometimes this guy will just basically loop the running back. So you see right here, blocks the running back, not able to block it, and you still get good pressure. Good job from Henry there, switch sticking that, almost able to take that away. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 on the 23. And man, he is very much, the majority of the offense has been tight open. And again, really doing different, just odd things. And there's another good pressure. I want to take a look at this real quick. Here you see, this is a send 2. Look at that, a send 2. I love this send 2. Isolates this guy. He actually ends up coming in free, by the way. Off of a send 2, spy. Great defense from Henry, and a dropped interception. You see Henry's facial expression. And this is the problem with defense in the game. Right here. Has to be an interception. Has to be an interception. This has to be an interception. And this has to be an interception. Very unfortunate for Henry. It's not an interception. You see there, he's super frustrated. That's a game-changing interception, because if Henry goes up 2 possessions, right, it's a game-changing interception. And very unfortunate that he didn't catch that. It brings up a 4th and 10. We'll see what happens here if John's able to convert it. Give a good player like John B second opportunities. Normally he is able to convert it. And you see there on a drag route, by the way. That's a drag route. But it's just a great job by John. And this is what, I'm telling you watch this game. What does John do? It is 100% something like this. He also runs the flat on the drag side a lot, which is not very common. But you see it here. So you see slot fade, running off these defenders. And then you get underneath drag route. Henry switch sticks the post, and John hits the drag, and he does a great job of just cutting up and being able to get that 1st down, even though it was literally like a 3-yard pass. So, again, a drive that should have ended in an interception, right, is now 1st down, because the second opportunity, shout out to drop picks. They've been an issue since next-gen Madden basically was a thing. And I think they're going to continue to be an issue. For whatever reason, they cannot fix drop picks. I don't get it. Maybe that's because they want you to pay for pick artist. I don't know. But very unfortunate there for Henry. Okay. He's going to go to tight open again. And you see here, he's going to go to like a 4 vertical. Nope, same thing. Slot fade, drag, in. You talk about a simple offense. It's the same thing every time. The playmaker there on the left, though. Loves to playmaker that drag up into that open space that's vacated by those yellows. But another good read from John, and this is just, consistently making the right read. He has not really stayed in bunch at all. It's been tight open almost every single play. He's going to go to a speed option here. That totally did not work. Good job by Henry being able to switch. I think Henry actually switch sticked on to the guy that was going to go defend the running back. Well, I guess you wouldn't call it switch stick. Here's the motion bubble. Love this play. It's one of my favorite plays in the game. That flat is always open. You see there, it's a free 10 yards. I don't know why more people don't run that play. That play, motion RPO alert, really good play. Motion RPO zone alert, really, really good play in this game. Now we're seeing a little more bunch, but he's going to quickly go back into tight open. And yeah, corner route, stem down post, return route, right? Standard combo. Just a good job of going through the progressions and just taking the basic routes. Yeah, really, I'm curious as to why tight open versus like, yeah, just curious. Got the crosser and the tight end kind of ran his route bad. Gonna eat it. Should have thrown it away. Took another sack. It's the second sack he's taken, I want to say, on this drive. That's the second sack that he's taken. And these sacks in the real NFL, there's, I think, famous coach Tom Moore, he says that, on drives that take a sack, it's like less than a 7% chance that a drive ends in a touchdown. Not so in Madden, but kind of same principle, right? Sacks are never good. And it's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning. Situationally here, a little bit going on. Not a ton. In Henry's world, you kind of just want to make sure you get this ball back before halftime, right? So not a whole lot he could realistically do here. Situationally, he should get the ball back. 3rd and 18. John's going to try to convert this. If he gets this could be a touchdown here. This could be a first down. We'll see. Another good playmaker. John throws a pick. And to me, this is just the negative. And yeah, it's just it's kind of a bad pick. You see why he throws it. He kind of gets an overthrow. I think he basically just gets an overthrow, and you see there, right? You kind of see why he threw it. It's just kind of an odd. I'm not a big playmaker guy. I'm not a big small pass lead guy. Because sometimes they can do stuff like that where it's just like, oh no, But anyway, I get why they do it. But Henry has a great opportunity. He's up 14-7. He's got ball. He scrambles out of there with Daniels. Does a good job of getting out of there. And now he's going to give himself a little bit of breathing room. This is a big blessing for Henry, right? He gets an overthrow. It appears like that's an overthrow. I don't know. It could have been a bad frame for him. I don't know. But anyway, John is screaming at him, by the way. And you look at this. This is sending 1, 2, 3. He sent 3 immediate pressure, by the way. Check out why. Here's why I think this happens. If we really slow this down, watch John B's user. No, he doesn't do anything. That's crazy. Why is that coming in? Is it just I bet you that's just a random thing that sometimes happens in double mug when you leave the linebackers. That's what happened last year. In double mug, when you got those super fast defensive ends, it can work like that. So anyway, the double mug yumming at Henry goes back to doubles flex. Really interesting. And that's great pressure from John. He's able to get great pressure from Hendricks on the outside. 3rd and 14. Henry not looking great. Not looking great on this drive. Just been getting pressured a lot. And it's just a sim 4, right? And then he gets an overthrow. This overthrow wasn't an interception, but you got to convert that. That's the small pass lead. It's what I'm talking about. Like sometimes the ball just bends a little too much on that pass lead setting, in my opinion, and that can happen. And you've seen it all throughout this tournament. There'll be a guy wide open, and you'll put too much on it. I love this decision from Henry to go for this. The main reason why is because if he doesn't convert it, then he gets ball. He'll pretty much guaranteed he'll get the ball back before the end of half here. So don't necessarily love the combo, but John Beast able to swat that down. And now that negates Henry's interception. This game is really, if you really look at how this has gone so far, it's been a lot of something happens and they don't capitalize it. For example, Henry fumbles, John Beast not able to capitalize on it. John Beast throws an interception, Henry not able to capitalize on it. When you're in these types of games, you have to capitalize on those situations, really on either side of that. That's why it's really important for John to cash in the 7 here and get this ball game back to 14-14. But at the end of the day, you got to capitalize on the opponent's mistakes, and Henry was not able to do that in that situation. So, and I think ultimately a lot of it has to do, and you see there's another shed. Like you also are seeing here, the formula to play defense. It's really shed defenses. You have a little bit of a blitz threat, so if you ever need to send pressure, you have it. But really at the core, you want to be sending 4. You want to be sending 4, 3, 2, and you want to be shedding their life away with those double or nothings across the board. It's Henry's entire game plan. He didn't send 2 enough, I feel like, honestly, if you watch this game. I feel like his send 2 was really good out of Cub. Here's a send 3. Gets good pressure. Good pressure. Able to play great defense, by the way. And that's going to be a 4th and goal. Kind of a decision here from John, but honestly not really a decision. You kind of want to go for this. Main reason being is because you know you're going to give Henry the ball with about 50 seconds left. Plenty of time for him to go down and get a field goal. You really need a touchdown here. And this is a crazy combo. And he's just going to trust the Lord and lean not on his own understanding. So I love this. This is the running back post route. This post, it runs faster than a streak. So watch how, you see how it kind of cuts sharply up into the seam. John Beast does a great job throwing the ball off anticipation for a possession catch with an inside pass lead. And you see the emotion there. And it's big for Henry, right? You see the facial expression knowing he wasted a big opportunity in the game. And really, I mean, this is, if you go back and watch, Henry's game against Astro, you watch Henry's game against Lambeau, that really wasn't the story, right? The story was they made 1 or 2 mistakes, and Henry used those to completely flip the game. So far, John has made two major mistakes. He's thrown 2 interceptions. John's thrown 2 interceptions in scoring position, right? He's thrown 2 interceptions in scoring position, and Henry's only been able to turn 1 of those interceptions into 7 points, and that's kind of the difference in the game. Now, granted, we're still fairly even right now at this point in terms of this, right? Henry's had 2 turnovers. He's had a turnover on downs, and he had the fumble. John Beast had 2 interceptions. We're fairly even in terms of the possession count. What I'm saying is the big difference in these games, what really separates, I feel like, is when you're able to get your opponent to make that mistake, and then you bury them because of that mistake. And Henry hadn't been able to do that yet with John here. So anyway, good scramble from Henry, able to get upfield, 2nd and 2 situation. Main thing for Henry here, he's pretty much got to get 3, right? John Beast gets ball out of half. Really ideal for Henry to at least get 3 here, to at least have a 1 possession lead. There's the Texas 4-man stunt, by the way. This Texas 4-man stunt, this is why double mug's good, in my opinion. You can run this right here. You could run this and then send your user here and drop out. Same thing on the other side. You could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, drop this guy out. So you could sit, you've got about 4 to 5 different ways to blitz out of this or send pressure. But then guess what? You also got good old faithful Texas 4-man stunt that you can mix in randomly. Here you see Texas 4-man comes in clean. Jaden Daniels, by the way, not able to run away from that. And you see that Henry is on that empty protection, which is probably the best base pass pro for 4-man stunts. Anyway, it's going to be a 3rd down and 2. And let's see, Henry's going to go to the more verticals play. And good job of being able to scramble up there with JD5. And he's going to burn his timeout right there. He's going to have a couple end zone shots. Ball in the 20. He could take a drag or something, get himself a little closer. But realistically, he's got to stay out of bounds. If he gets tackled in bounds, it's going to be a spike and a field goal. going to stem up a curl here on the left side. And there's that running back. See if he tries to fit that in. He's not going to take it. And should just be a throwaway here. Yep. And then that's going to be 13. One of the things, it's just my opinion, but if you're looking at these route combos, they're full on end zone shots, and we got John playing prevent basically. So hit a drag, cut up for 5-10. In this game, drags are so powerful. And you see, there's you run a drag across, you probably catch and get up for at least, 5-10. So I just would personally love to see him run a little bit more of a drag. He basically called 3 end zone shots. Basically, essentially it's probably his game plan here in this situation. Ultimately, he knew he really needed to get 3, didn't need to get 7, needed to get 3, loved to get 7, but wasn't able to, and he's going to settle for 3. 6 seconds left. He is going to have to kick this ball off to John, so we'll see how the kickoff coverage goes here for him. But all in all, right, this is a pretty even first half, right? There's no front runner really after that first half. John Beast made 2 mistakes. Henry made really 1 mistake. The fumble, wouldn't categorize that as a mistake. I would categorize that as like being unlucky or unfortunate. And John Beast wasn't able to capitalize on that either. He was not able to get a touchdown there either. So anyway, overall, these guys are pretty dead even in the first half. And we'll see what happens in the second half. So as you can see here, John Beast is going to be getting this ball to start out the second half. Henry, looks like they're all kind of kicking it to that same spot. And we'll see what John Beast is able to do here. Tries to cut it around. Not able to really get that much. And that's going to put the ball on the 22-yard line. Takes to half. All right, so 1st and 10 here for John to start the second half. And he's just going to take a quick flat route. Good defense from Henry. Able to just tackle that quickly. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 12. Trying to see exactly where. Ball on the 20-yard line. And Henry pretty much committing to that cub here defensively with those 5 double or nothings. Mesh sneak for John Beast with a little sneak route to the back. Good pressure from Henry. And something went bad here. Something went bad. I don't know what went bad, but this dude got burnt by a country mile. That guy is gone. Henry tries to switch it on, but just not really able to get there. And he just gets burned, right? Could have been the alignment, the press. But, that's a significant 7. You just gave John a free touchdown. It's a free touchdown, right? Can't do that in these big games. When you give players like John Beast free touchdowns, it just makes everything easier for him, makes them relax. And when John Beast can play stress-free, one of the best players we've ever seen. So here we see a good return from Randy Moss. Yeah, literally, he beats him from the jump. And I really believe it has something to do with this press alignment. He presses here. I don't know. But yeah, gets great pressure, by the way. But when you can't cover the streak, it's a little bit of a problem. So outside third is not able to cover the streak. Henry is sliding here to the right, doing a little slide pro. Trying to throw a laser. Throws a beam to the post, but not able to get his feet in. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Kind of interesting that half slide to the right against double mug. It could be just because he was planning to roll out, right? 2nd and 10 from the 27. He's going to play a little bunch here. Go a little underneath combos. Hits that running back in that nice little spot. I'm really surprised Henry has not ran a ton of bunch X nasty. He's really ran. He's ran a lot. He has ran bunch X nasty, I guess. Not as much though as he did in the last tournament. Not as much, definitely not WAF Trio. He ran WAF Trio more so. Anyway, here. Little quick flat to the tight end. Good read. Able to get upfield for 5 yards. Good passer's not going to miss his flat route. A good passer will not miss their flat routes. Motion clear HB seam with a little unique running back seam streak. We'll see if he keeps that route or not here. He is going to keep it. Goes with kind of a unique combination. Tries to get this corner route isolated. Does a good job of playmakering that return route into that open space. And if you're not using Master Tactician, quarterback playmaker, Master Tack, such a powerful ability. Gives you everything you need in terms of conductor and QB playmaker all rolled into one ability. Bunch tight end here for Henry. Henry loves to run mesh out of this. He's going to go to the RPO and do a quick flat. He actually does a good job of audibling to that late, popping that quick flat there on the audible, able to get that flat for pretty nice little gain there. And now we have basically a red zone opportunity for Henry. Going to go to bunch tight end spacing. And it's the same basic thing, streak and 2 slants. When in doubt, right? Try to playmaker one of them out. Ends up taking a sack on 2nd and 15. And that's going to bring up bunch tight end. Goes double slants again. Look how open that. It's crazy. He runs double slants every time. I mean, when he's a bunch tight end down there, he's running double slants. And again, he just able to easily convert it. And yeah. Now we're kind of going down towards, to a degree, the home stretch of this ball game, right? There's about 7 minutes left. Realistically, 2 to 3 possessions, I would think. Depends on how they go, of course. But, you know, John Beast has got to start thinking about the end game here. How does he get one more stop, right? How does he get one more stop? Same for Henry. How do I get one more stop? I really think, you know, one more stop probably wins this ball game. But, you know, we'll kind of see how this ends up going. These guys are, it's very interesting. Has that nice super drag. And you see Henry's facial expression here. So let's take a look at what actually coverage-wise happened. So as you see, Henry basically mixes in a man up. This guy's there, and he's on top, and Henry actually switch sticks onto him and runs him to the outside hip of the receiver. And then he switches off, runs him into position, switches him on. He's right there. He just can't make the play. Swatted the ball, I guess. John kind of underthrew it a little bit. Again, another one of those plays like 50-50. You know, could that be a pick? Could that be a catch? Could that be a swat? You know, ends up being a knockout. But I think, you know, again, here he gets him again. A double coverage. He cannot catch a pick, and you see him going crazy. He's had a fumble. He dropped an obvious pick in the first half. That last one could have been a pick. And then that one right there, throwing a double coverage with no punishment, no reason to not throw in a double coverage. And in a competitive game, in a game where defense is incredibly difficult, you have to make them pay for when they do stuff like that. Because on the very next play, it's a free touchdown. And Henry just defeated, ridiculously frustrated, played really great defense, not able to get the stop. And then here, you know, 52, I don't know what 52 decided to do, but he manned the running back up, and man, that defensive end just got fried. Frustrating sequence there for Henry. John B's able to still come out of there with a touchdown on a drive where he basically threw 2 interceptions. At least one of them should have been intercepted. If this is, you know, what's crazy is, as I think about this, if this game was played in, you know, December, January, February, when you have pick artists on everybody, more than likely an interception, because pick artists not in the game is really the biggest difference. You know, 2 very obvious drop picks for Henry so far, maybe a third. Yeah, pretty significant. Anywho, 1st and 10 from the 30. You see here, Henry slides left. Why does he slide left? Because John Beast is usering over the center with this guy. So more than likely, this pressure is not going to be as big of a threat. This pressure over here, you got 4. Basically, you have 4 on one side, 3 on the other. And you see just a basic send 4. Running back wide open up to Skinny. Nice read from Henry. It's a great clutch route, that motion clear HB seam. A lot of times they start making adjustments to your other plays in bunch. You can get them with that play, and normally that play is just wide open. Henry going to go to mesh. He's running a lot of mesh out of bunch, and he throws just a duck. If you watch Henry through this tournament, when he goes to bunch tight end, one of the main plays he likes to get to is this mesh play, right? And he likes to hit these drags because these flats do such a good job of pulling the zones out. And John Beast was just ready for it, right? He switched sticks to yellow. He plays this. You got this open. You got this open. Might have had this open had you waited. Obviously, it's easier to say that in replay form, but in real time, just missed the read, right? John made a great play with the switch stick. It's why mesh. This is why mesh can struggle, right? It's a great play. It's a great play by John. And Henry missed a read, and now he's in trouble. Now he's in trouble, primarily because of the time. Primarily because we're going down the home stretch of this game. John has ball up with about 6 minutes left in the ball game. If John gets 7 on this drive, it's pretty significant. Henry needs a stop. He needs to hold a 3, something. But that's a big mistake by Henry. You can't make that mistake. And yeah, you just can't, man. Like, somebody of Henry's caliber, you can't make that mistake. But ultimately, kind of his money play when he goes to bunch tight end, and it's gotten him to this point, and John Beast just switch sticked it, was sitting on it basically. It's the tendency. There's that post, nice read. I'll tell you what, man, look at how much, I call it shallow, but post drag or post slant or post drag return. It's main concepts, in route, drag route with 2 clear out streaks. John has ran that all game. Good run D from Henry. 2nd and 14. Gonna go to tight seams. I don't know why he likes those fades. They're not bomb. I think they might do really good against like cover 0 maybe. And they have that little cut in them. They kind of bend the cover 0 in a way where you can easily pass lead it. But does a good job of hitting the corner route there. And he is going to go into motion spot wide post. One of my favorite plays, got that short post on the tight end. This has been his kind of money play here. See what I would do also. I mean, you could do this drag, and then you could do like a massive stemmed up curl if you wanted to. Because you don't really need that streak to clear out everything. Yep, there it is. I didn't even know he was putting a curl. But there's that stemmed up curl, gets in a soft spot of the zone. It's going to bring up 1st and goal from the 7. 5 minutes. This is going to be, put your 4s up in the chat. And it's going to be 4th quarter. If you're John here, this is a huge red zone possession. And he's going to start out just running the ball. Get the clock going. See what he can get on the ground. 2nd and goal. To me, you probably pass the ball here, but I think he's going to stay on the ground. And it's a really interesting strategy from John. I actually need to break this down for a second. So as you look here, you're like, okay, you're watching this and you're going, why is John running the ball so much? And why is he chewing clock? In my opinion, what he basically is doing here, and we'll see what his 3rd down call is he chews this down significantly. Now he gets in a slot. But he chews this clock down. You see here, chew clock is on. Okay? So he chews this clock down in the situation. The reason being, at least what I think, we'll see what he does. He is going to pass here, try to get the ball out. And not able to get in the end zone. So here's the decision in this situation. So here's, if you realistically think about this, John, he could go for this and try to just basically win the ball game. He's clocked this out. But here's the other thing. This is the most offensive, this is a very offensive friendly game. Okay. Now, granted, John's thrown, 4 picks this game. He decides to take 3, and what's crazy to me is he does not chew this entire clock. I think that's a mistake on his part, but whatever. I don't think it makes that big of a difference. He chooses to take 3. The reason being, let's say he takes this all the way down. So let's say this is probably 320 ultimately, once you take it down and then you kick it. 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Henry has to go down. He has to score a touchdown, and he has to kick field goal. You could be in a situation where Henry goes down, scores, and goes for 2. However, you could also be in a situation where Henry goes down, he scores, he gets a field goal, and then he kicks the ball to John with a minute or so left, and John can go down and get 3. So I think those are some of the different things at play with how John Beast decides to play it. But ultimately, he decides to go up 7, trust his defense to a degree, but I also think it's because he trusts himself to be able to get 3 if Henry is able to answer. But the way John Beast probably wants to play defense here is he would, if Henry's going to score, he would probably like Henry to score with about a minute or so left in the ball game and maybe a timeout or 2. Okay, so money drive, time for Henry. He's done this so many times. Going to start out with basic spacing switch. He's got the post route for a massive gain. Now, here's the decision right here. This decision impacts his game significantly. He chooses to go down, okay? This is a touchdown, right? He can go score a touchdown right now, right? He would outrun this guy. It's a touchdown. Henry's going to choose to go down here. This decision to go down is because he's going to make this the last drive. And I think in Henry's mind, I think what he's thinking is I'm going to score and I'm going to go for 2 and win the ball game. That's just kind of how I think he would think in this situation. Again, he goes to bunch that in and look what he calls. He calls mesh. Got flat, swing, drag, and then this post. Okay? You see here that John is putting 2 hooks, a flat. This is free, but Henry never throws that. Right? And so Henry just takes the scramble. But just keep that in mind, because every time Henry goes to bunch that in, I think the play that he really, really wants to play or call is mesh. You see here again, mesh with a post, 2nd and 1, 2:28, goes to it. And again here, this time throws the ball away. John Beast is choosing. He's choosing not to cover this guy pretty much ever. Also, he plays defense in a way that Henry has a touchdown, but Henry doesn't want to take the touchdown because he wants to score at a certain point in the game. So because of that, he throws the ball away, and now you're on a 3rd and 1. Why Henry doesn't run on 2nd and 1, I don't think I'll ever know that. I think that's just how he likes to play. I think he likes to pass the ball a lot. So anyway, bottom line is, I think you should run there on that 2nd and 1, take a little bit more clock, but he ends up running on 3rd and 1. Now you get a 4th and inches, right? If you run on 2nd and 1, then you're 3rd and inches. You probably run the ball again on 3rd down. You probably get a 1st. So 4th and inches, kind of a decision, right? He ends up going for it and, pays off. He's able to convert it. He's able to make the play. Goes to one of his favorite plays. Surprised he didn't call that play a lot more. He called that play a ton in his win and get in matchup. I cannot remember who he actually I think he played Clef, actually. Yeah. He called that a ton against Clef in his win and get in matchup. Anyway, here setting up some run plays, but still going to be coming out in his core offense. 2 minutes left. John has 3 timeouts. There's a lot going on in terms of how he's managing the clock here in the situation, trying to ensure himself that there's really no real way for John to win this game. So goes to outside zone. One of his favorite runs didn't work, but he's going to go down chew clock, and you're going to see spacing switch again here. Goes to a pretty standard bunch tight end combo, and doesn't feel like he has anything. Chooses to take off with JD5 and going to get a little bit of yards here. What's crazy is you just never fumble with the quarterback in this game. But that's going to bring him a 3rd and inches. Kind of similar situation to what we were just in, right? But he's in that 3rd and inches. To me, you run the ball here. You run the ball here. You take this all the way down. You run the ball. at least in my opinion. So he passes, same thing. He throws this wide open read. He starts to catch on and he starts to hit this, and this is open. But Marshawn Lynch honestly kind of does a terrible job there. Like, you got to think Marshawn's going to break that tackle or at least carry him forward for the first down. Probably why Henry threw it in the first place. He didn't. John made a great tackle, and now you get a 4th and 1. And Henry is going to go mesh, right? He's going to go mesh. So here you see John puts the hard flat, pressure in his face, and John just takes it to the house. Now, let's back this up and just read this play. So Henry's first read, because of the way John had been defending this, is the running back. So John, in this key situation, he says, I'm going to take that away completely. So he takes that away completely right there. Boom. Now, if you look out here, right, that's normally, I think, Henry's first read. But Henry this time looks to the right first. But, oh, no, that's taken away. So now the read is here to here to here. And basically, just because Henry looks at it, I think, a different way, because you see how open that is, right? Obviously, easy for me to sit here the next day or whatever and break this down, but it's a great play by John in real time. I mean, if we actually watch the play in real time, you'll see, I mean, he probably here, oh no. Here, oh no. That's kind of what I think happens, honestly. Henry thought maybe he was going to take the other drag. I don't know. John makes play of the game. Probably one of the best plays of John's career. Guesses right on that switch stick, takes that drag away, and he catches his pick. Biggest difference in this game, John user switch sticked mesh twice, and that was Henry's most common play call out of bunch tight end. John was forcing Henry to play left-handed. He was not going to give up mesh, basically, and that's kind of generally what ended up happening. John able to take the quarterback scramble. Henry obviously clearly frustrated. John clearly excited. It's a big win for John. It's not a big loss for Henry. Right? Henry's already done so much. But what Henry was trying to do this year, this definitely affects him. Because Henry was trying to have the greatest MCS season we've ever seen. And when Fancy had that last year, he won the ultimate kickoff tournament and the most feared tournament. Now that puts Henry in a position where he's won the ultimate kickoff tournament. He's lost in the finals of the most feared tournament. The only way that Henry can complete the best MCS season we have ever seen is to go win the Zero Chill tournament and go win the Madden Bowl. And that is kind of where he's left himself for this year. So it's in that regard, a big loss for Henry. Ultimately, you win some, you lose some. And at the end of the day, Henry's still the best Madden player we've ever seen. But kind of a gut punch of a loss for him, I think. And as seen by some of his reactions, got a fumble, dropped 2 picks, all those factors in. But ultimately, he threw 2 picks, and John was able to switch stick him on both of them. And, shout out to John. Great tournament run for him. Obviously, we know Henry will be back. I'm sure this will fuel Henry to go get it done in Zero Chill and go get it done in Madden Bowl. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the breakdown.